God dang it. All right. And we're gonna Hello, hello. Let's see what we got here. I'm new to all this, so uh yeah. My mic stand collapsed and broke right before I started this, so yeah, here we go. This is what we got. Oh, and I'm bouncing back and forth between OBS and oh, there we go. And oh, I gotta mute myself here. And we're good. Crypto Smith in first. Paul Orchard. Oh, Henry Street Forge. Ben Toombs. You want your beverage? I got mine. I got my beverage. Let me tell you. Hey, what's going on there, Hubcap? Oh, volume. Am I low? I got the mic all the way up. Monitor. What's going on here? Okay, hold on. Can you not hear me? No, I could hear me. Hey, what's going on there, Hubcat? Oh, I can hear me. Okay, so I'm good. Hold on a minute. I gotta shut the dang door because Jake breaks. Anyways, let's get cracking, shall we? All right. What are you guys doing tonight? Oh, and it could have been my distance from the mic or something like that. It should be good now though. Oh man, what a day! Let me tell you what. I went to bed probably about oh one maybe I guess, and I woke up at like 3:45 this morning just sweating, and I was like, please don't tell me somebody turned the damn AC up, the thermostat, and so I wake up, walk out all the way out to the living room, and I look at it. No, it's still sitting at 70, and you don't want to mess with it because if you move it to turn the AC on, it'll be set too cold and it'll freeze up, and then you wake up 4 hours later and yeah, it's actually 80 degrees inside. So I didn't mess with it and I went back to bed, and my cousin's light was still on. He was still up, and then I had an alarm set for 7 o'clock this morning for the SpaceX Super Heavy launch, and oh boy, let me tell you, that was something else. I watched them scrub on the 17th, and that was I don't know. I mean, I kind of expected that. That was the FAA first launch license was effective on the 17th, and I've been telling everybody for I don't know a couple months. It's like I'm telling you, they're going to launch on 420. They're going to launch on 420. It's Elon Musk's birthday. That's when they're going to do it, and yeah. And so this morning I got up and I watched it go. It got to 40 seconds, and then they did a hold, and I was like, oh man, missed it by that much. And yeah, I'll turn that off. Transition. Come on, mouse, work for me. Transition. There we go. And so I don't know. They had about a 2-minute pause and then went right back to it, and launched it. And of course, I'm sitting there. I don't know. It's hard for me to recreate because like when the Falcon Heavy went and put the Tesla in a a trans Mars orbit. I mean, I like cried for like the first 5 or 6 minutes of that one, and easily 6-8 minutes because all the way through the double booster landing, which is still probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. And yeah, Paul, it did blow up. That's for sure. it takes off, it clears the pad, and I wasn't expecting, any kind of emotional response or whatever. But I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. I mean, I don't know, the sounds that were coming out of me were just fucking weird. I don't know. It was just one of them weird things. I was apparently loud enough that I woke my cousin up, and he rolls over in bed and yells, "What the fuck?" And then he's like, "Oh, the launch!" And then he rolls over and turns his computer on to watch it. But yeah, it was an interesting morning that happened, and yeah. Then I came to San Antonio because I'm on days off, so it's my weekend off, and oh yeah, okay. Let me finish that story. Yeah, and it made it like I don't know, maybe 3 minutes into flight, which is when it's supposed to have stage separation, and it was just sitting here doing cartwheels. Just it did 4 complete loops up in the sky, and it didn't separate, and that was the problem. At one point, you could see where the upper stage engines lit while it was still connected to the bottom stage, because you could see the fire coming out from where they're connected for just a minute, and then they hit the flight termination system and blew it up. And I was watching Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. I was watching his live stream, and he was 5 miles away. He's got an apartment almost exactly 5 miles away from the launch site. And 7 minutes after the launch, they're standing outside on the balcony, and they're going, "Oh, it's raining. Oh, yeah, it's because the water vapor from the rocket exhaust." And then one of them's like, "Oh no, it's sand." And then yeah, then they all gathered up their stuff and went inside, and they were all covered with sand. So the force of the 33 Raptor engines blew sand 5 miles away. How crazy is that? Yeah, Crypto Smith saw the replay of it, and it was I don't know, it was pretty good. I liked it. Had a really good time with that. It was one of the cooler rocket launches I got to say I've ever seen. I did prefer the Falcon Heavy though, just because I mean, very first time out of the box, it went up, dropped 2 boosters. They came back, landed side by side, dropped the fairings, launched a Tesla, and then dropped the center core in the ocean because it ran out of fuel. But good stuff. Then I came home, and so I had to go pick up my glasses from the optometrist. Because I went and did my annual eye exam last month. I'm only home once a month, so I had to wait till today to go pick them up. Now, when I took my eye exam, I'm just sitting. I go through the whole thing, and they show me what the prescription is. And I was like, whoa, that can't be right. It's like that is way way different from what these are, and as far as I can tell, these still work perfectly. And they're like, no, 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 your eyes change. It's no big deal. And they're like, okay, it'll take like 10 days to come in. So they come in, and I went there today to go pick them up, and yeah, I go to put them on, and just everything's blurry, and I was like, whoa, what? Hold on just a second. I don't not scream in the microphone. What? I'm live right now. What's up? Huh? Okay. So I'm doing a show. Okay, well, yeah, that was great. Anyways, what? No, no, I'm right here. What? Huh? Oh, okay. Anyways, so yeah, so I went to go. Yeah, I could see better without the new glasses than I could with them on. And they're like, "Well, how does it look?" And I was like, "Here, you try them on." And they're like, "Well, it doesn't really work like that." And I was like, "I know." And they don't work like that on me either. And so yeah, so they went and redid it again, and then the guy's like, "Oh, well, this is really close to your old prescription, so that's probably more accurate." And I was like, "Yeah, you think?" And so now I got to wait another month to get my glasses. So that's the way that's gonna go. Danimal, how's it going? Outside fabricating new seat brackets for your little two-man boat. Don't you come in here and eat my shit. Get fucking goat. Huh? Yeah, I'll put highlights in your hair. Okay, low lights. What, dark streaks? Okay, easy enough. Do I need the car? No, I don't need the car.
Come on, go. Come on.
Yeah, he likes headbutting me.
I told him that. You're welcome.
Oh, did you? Yeah, yeah. He loves headbutting my kneecaps.
Sit there and headbutt each other, and I'll fight him. Come on, Austin.
Anyways, you'll have to drag him out because I don't know. He likes my shoelaces for some reason.
Oh
Anyways,
yeah, you turn the light off and he goes out. But it can't exactly turn the light off with you in here. And you don't have to drag him.
huh?
He weighs like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right. Oh. Okay. Let's see. What do we got? Alan, no, there's not a Tesla on Mars. There's a Tesla in a trans-Mars orbit. Its orbit crosses Mars's orbit and goes out. Half the distance between Earth and Mars is how far past Mars it goes, and then it crosses Earth's orbit as well. Um, yeah, unhealthy obsession, some would say. Okay, that's coin merge. Yeah, Ben, you are mostly lies, mostly, but you're still a good dude. Oh, Cryptosmith, that's fucking Yamez. I was like, who is that? And then I don't know why. Oh, okay. And then I looked at the the I don't know what it's called. The little circle next to your name. That thing. Anyways, and see the crossbones and the palms, and I'm like, oh, never mind. I know who that is now. I said hi, Daniel. Yeah, a random goat, and that goat is already the bane of my existence, and it shits everywhere. I mean, just walks right by shitting, and it's like, "What's up?" I'm like, really? You did that on my shoe, and then it turns around and looks at the other shoe and starts eating my shoelace. Oh man. Yeah, there's a goat in the house now. Yeah, yeah. You remember how that? Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that one. But yeah, we got a goat. We got a bunch of little baby chicks out there that are about this tall out in the chicken run, and still more dogs than I can count. And oh yeah, that sucks, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, Avatar. There you go, Yamez. Thank you, Avatar. That's what I was. That's the word I was looking for. And in this particular instance, my words were failing me. Um, and I got home. I got home today this afternoon. Hello, George Anderson. And I got home this afternoon or this evening after my re eye appointment, and I was like trying to figure out, all right, where am I going to set up for the Sunday show and this Alexis Unleashed show that I want to do. And I was like, well, if I do it in the house, I'm going to have to deal with everybody else in the house streaming some show and having the volume turned all the way up. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to set it up in my shop in the garage. So I moved my pressure pot and my vacuum pump out of the way and set it up on a little rollaway cart. And I've got a little in the shop set up. And yeah, lots of fun here. What is going on, George? We are sitting around, and I am drinking beer and bullshitting with the people in the chat. And oh yeah, I guess I'll kind of go over what this show idea is. Um, for this one here, I mean, it's not technically. I didn't want to do just the same old, same old. I mean, what we all have in common is an interest in blacksmithing, but we also have other areas of our lives that overlap that are shared interests, what have you. And I wanted to kind of just how we can delve into those. We could delve into anything. It doesn't matter. There's no topic. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna obviously. If I'm gonna go live, I'm gonna have something I can talk about and fill time. Because I'm not just gonna sit here and stare at the screen and read the chat. But on the other hand, so I'll have things I can talk about because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a talker. Especially if you get a couple beverages in me, you can't shut me up. Well, so my idea was to have a show where we could sit around and we could just talk real talk, speak as adults, type as adults, whatever. I mean, you want to drop an F bomb in the chat or shit, fuck, whatever, I don't care. The only caveat or thing I'm going to impose on the chat is no hate speech against anybody. I'm pretty sure that violates YouTube's terms of service, and for all intents and purposes, it violates ours as well because we don't want to be like that. We're better than that, and we love everybody. So, um, other than that, I mean, what's on your mind, and what's pissing you off these days? Well, you don't even want to get me started on what pisses me off. that's a that's a long conversation. And yeah, Ben, my forges are inside now. Yeah, I used to be I don't know, back when I did the I don't know. I think the last video I did outside was when I was hardening the rail spike, and I was in a breezeway on the other side of this wall, and I had a parts pickup that was taking up all of the inside of my garage. So I mean, I couldn't really do anything. And yeah, when I got rid of that though, well, actually what I did was I moved everything out of the garage, pushed the parts pickup out, moved everything out of the breezeway, moved the pickup over, pushed it into the breezeway, and then moved my shit into the shop. And that way I'm not out there. The only thing that was nice though is because it's a breezeway, it's breezy, and so like the wind always blows through there, and that was really nice. Hey, what's up, Robert Lonis? Glad you could make it. You getting all packed up there, ready to rock and roll? But it is actually nicer having the forges inside and all that because it's I can open the doors on either end and still get that breeze kind of sorta. But I mean it's easier to heat in the wintertime. Like when the forge is outside in the wintertime, there ain't no heater that's gonna do shit. I've got one of them turbo heaters, the great big ones that run on diesel, and it doesn't do a fucking thing outside. But inside, I can just open the front door just a little bit and put it in front of that so it's sucking fresh air. And I mean it brings it from below freezing to t-shirt weather in here in maybe 5 minutes. I mean, yeah, in 5 minutes you're sweating, going, oh my gosh. Oh, it's hot in here, and that's it's I like that. The downside being though, in the summertime, it gets hot in here, and the air conditioners don't really keep up. I've got like 3 or 4 window units in here, and they just don't do much good because while the walls are insulated, the roof is not, and so yeah. Hey, I don't know. What's tomorrow? Oh wait, I've got therapy tomorrow. 11:30, and then I've got lunch with my mom at 1. Okay, that works for me. Cause I gotta, yeah, I'll wind up getting up about 6 o'clock anyways. That's just when I wake up, and then I can get ready to go and all that, and then I can do your hair. Okay, that works. Works for me. Oh. The ins and outs of tax shelters, huh? Yeah, see, I live down here in Texas where we learn the ins and outs of storm shelters. Hey, yeah, you know what? That is your anvil right there. I mean, do you recognize it? Yeah. I gave it a good home. It gets lightly used. Let's see what else we got in here. Let's go George Carlin, huh? God, I love that guy. Man, George Carlin was a boss. There's no other way to put it. I just wish he was still around. George is pissed off because his forge is outside and he'd like to move it inside, but worried about safety. Like trying to figure out how much space I need so I don't set shit on fire. All right, well, that's George. What kind of you got a coal forge? Or you got a gas forge? Because that's a big difference. So my at work, I've got a little single burner Hell's forge. And I actually had that a little bit too close to the trailer house, and I melted the siding just a little bit, and so I kind of moved that out of the way. And mine now, I mean, 2 feet maybe off the wall, something like that. But it's actually pretty fairly well insulated. I mean, other than the bottom of it, like the bottom of it, I mean, it never gets hot. You could after it's been running, you can put your hand on the bottom and it's warm to the touch. But I mean, as you can see, it hasn't burned any of the paint off of it. It's I've got that piece of 4-inch strapping around the middle because that used to be a propane can, and so yeah, that's how hot it gets. As you can see right out the front where that yellow pipe is stuck up against it. That's where where the dragon's breath comes out the front and burn the paint off. I mean, the rest of it gets hot enough I don't want to touch it, but not hot enough to burn the paint off. So I think that's pretty good. And then my coal forge right there, I mean, it's, well, I don't know, maybe a foot off the wall, but and these are I mean, this is a corrugated tin building with cheap thin fiberglass insulation in the walls, and then sheetrock walls. So I mean, they're probably not going to burn all that well anyways, but eh. Oh, four ACs. Is that what I said? Four? See, I had one, two, and there's three of them in here, but just the little window units. Well, one of them's not a little one. One of them's a big one. It's one of them $500 ones. It's got heat on it too. When I build me a little, I can't remember what James Duncan calls it. His little hideaway in the shop. I'm gonna build me one of those out of that 2-inch foam insulation right over on that side, and it's gonna be, I don't know, like 8x12, something like that. 8x12 or 6x12, I don't know. I think it's gonna be 8x12 is what I'm gonna go with, and 2-inch foam insulation all the way around, and then throw an air conditioner on it. That way, if I'm sitting out here and I get overheated, I can just like walk in there and it's just like, there it is, 65 degrees, awesome. And throw me a little futon in there so I can sleep, and I got my own have my own little world out here in the garage. I'm gonna love it. Oh, the shape, it made a long trip. What are you talking about there? There's your old anvil. The shape. Oh yeah. It did make a long trip. That was a hell of a ride. And that one was, I hauled that. Yeah, I did haul that one I hauled that one in the middle of the equinox. That's right. Yeah. Oh, I had it all strapped down from every side because I had this nightmare. I'm driving 2,600 miles with this anvil in the back of a car, and I just had this nightmare scenario of me falling asleep while I'm driving, and then like going off the road and winding up rolling, and I'm rolling with a 190-pound anvil rolling around inside the freaking car with me. And I'm sorry, but if I go flopping up against one side and the anvil comes and lands on my head, I don't think I'm going to live through that. So I had a whole bunch of 1-inch straps tying it down forwards, backwards, down, so it wasn't going to move. Well, I mean, not in anything at least minor. And then when I did when I got the mouse hole, when I picked up the mouse hole over in South Carolina, I hauled that one. I took the passenger seat out of my Mercedes, and then I built little like tabs so I could put a ratchet strap over, and I bolted the tabs down to the floor where the seat bolts went, and then I used ratchet straps over the top of the anvil to hold it in place. And then I don't have it here, but the coal forge that I have at work, I put it, the stand and everything above the, over the top of the anvil. So, so the forge rode on top of the anvil, and it's all right there in the passenger seat of the Mercedes, or where the passenger seat would have been had I not taken it out. God, that was a trip. Blew out 2 fucking tires, broke the rims, and let me tell you something. When you break the rim on a Mercedes, good fucking luck. I mean, it took us probably 3 hours to find a rim. And even then, it kind of didn't fit, but it was still on there when my coworker totaled it. So I was literally like when he totaled it the next week, I was going to order a replacement wheel for it. It was like $600 from Mercedes in Midland, and I was going to order a replacement wheel for it so they would match. And then a week before I was going to do that, he totaled it, and I was like, okay. And that was actually pretty much a good deal because that was right when COVID was happening, or right before COVID happened. And boy, the check I got from that Mercedes really saved my bacon. I'm telling you what. Oh, George, if you're a blacksmith and you don't set something on fire, including yourself, well, I have lost count. You know what? I have set myself on fire, and that sucks. I've caught the cuff of my pants on fire a couple times with, just like, like slag falling off or little bits that you cut off, and then they just kind of fly sometimes, and it's like, ooh, where'd that go? And then it's like, ooh, it's on my pants, it's on my pants. But yeah. That's right, hubcap. The shop shanty. That's right. That's for those rough nights. Well, yeah, every night for me is a rough night. So screw it. Oh yeah. Fuck. And then Ben Toom says spider hole. Yeah. God, don't remind me. I came out here one night. I don't know. Maybe I came out here to smoke a cigarette. Maybe I think I came out here to smoke a cigarette because it had to have been in the spring or the fall, one of the two, because it was tarantula season. And I came out here and just like, oh, let me see here, probably about where that coil thing is. Let me see. Yeah, right over there where my darts are hanging. That's what's right below that beam there. Yeah, you can see them. Right over there, right to the left of it, there was a freaking a tarantula with a 6-inch leg span, that big, just chilling on the wall. I walked in, I lit a cigarette, and I looked over and I saw him, and I was like, whoop, turned around and walked out. I was like, nope, you can have the shot, buddy. I'll go outside. Ooh. Robert Lonish, you did HVAC for a living, and your shop is still unair conditioned. Yeah, I bet that's a lot like a mechanic. When you work on cars for a living, and you come home, and it's like, fucking starters out in the Mustang. Not today. I think 6 months later, you're like, I bought the starter 3 months ago. I could really use that deposit for the core. Yeah, maybe tomorrow. I mean, you just when you're a mechanic, you just don't want to work on your own shit. And I mean, I know I was a mechanic, and when I worked on cars for a living, I didn't want to fix a goddamn thing on my car, nothing, or my pickup. I think I had a pickup at the time, but no, it's just like it runs, it's good enough. It's got a miss. I don't know why it's missing. I'm not going to bother trying to find it right now because it still runs. And yeah, when I wasn't a mechanic, it was just like, hey Debbie, what's going on? Good to see you. So yeah, when I was now I completely lost my train of thought. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Just derailed my train. Oh yeah. When I was a mechanic, I didn't work on my own shit. I mean, until it didn't move, and I was forced to work on it. And when I was a plumber, I did not want to, replace my fixtures or, put new cartridges in the shower. I'm just like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, it can leak a little longer. It'll be all right. But, at the end of the day, though, I've done all that stuff, and I know how to do all that stuff, and now it's like, yeah, when I need to do it, I do it. But not the vehicle maintenance. Well, no, I can't really say that because I did put new tires on, new tires. I put new headlights in it a couple weeks ago, and then I did. I have put in a couple radiators and the electric fan for the air conditioner. So I've done all that, but the oil change, I don't do that anymore. My ex-brother-in-law is a manager of a shop here in San Angelo, and I just take it to him and let them do it. I like to support local businesses, and so. Cost me like $70. They changed my oil. I get to visit with my ex-brother-in-law for, an hour or so. It's always a good time. He was, when I was a race car driver / owner, he ran a wrecking yard here in town, and God, he would hook me up on parts. Man, I hit the wall one night, and I mean, this was the year that Dale Earnhardt died, and I hit the wall at the exact same angle at wide open throttle. Just crossed the start-finish line for the checkered flag, and just plowed it right into the. I was running second. No, I was running third, and the guy in first, he had already crossed. And then the guy in second had two flat tires on the driver's side, and he was angling down the straightaway, angling down the track. And I was just like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make it!" And I just beelined it straight. And one of the things I'd learned was you just hold your line. You don't swerve or you don't give people your line. So I just went for it. Well, right before the start finish line, I hit the driver's side of his car and drove up on it, and it turned me up sideways like this. I turned sideways in the air. I'm going like 60 miles an hour, and the car is flying sideways through the air. When I hit the ground, it blew out both left side tires. Well, I mean, it rolled them off the bead. It didn't blow them out. And I mean, and when I hit, it automatically stuck my throttle wide open. I mean, it wouldn't, and I just shot me straight up into the wall. Well, not straight, but at that like angle. And like it freaked everybody out. I mean, like the whole freaking stands went silent. The lady that was scoring the race dropped the pencil and didn't score any of the other cars. They freaked. I mean, like everybody came running at me, and I'm just like sitting in the car, and I'm like, and I'm sitting there, fuck, shit, son of a, oh, motherfucker, and so I'm like, I'm taking my helmet off, I'm throwing it over to the other side, undoing my seatbelts, drop my window net, and they're like, "Are you okay? Are you coming?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. My car's fucked though. What am I gonna do? I got to race Abilene tomorrow. What the hell am I gonna do now?" And they're like, "Dude, you could have died." And I was like, "Man, I'm wearing a helmet. I'm good." But yeah, and then what it did is I wound up rolling the bumper back and then pushed the radiator into the fan. So I got the fan shroud, the radiator, and the bumper. And the next morning, I went over to the wrecking yard, and Earl hooked me up and sold me a radiator, a bumper, and a fan and a shroud for $25. And I put all that shit on, went out and raced Abilene. I think I got third the next night in Abilene. But let me tell you something. I was sore. Oh man, that sucked. But yeah. That all things from back in the day. Oh, D Baca, Daniel Baca, how you doing? Sorry I didn't chat at you earlier. I was in the middle of a story, but you know how that goes. George Anderson, you've set yourself on fire while welding, but never smithing yet. I think I've done it welding too. I can't. I had. I mean, I've welded a lot of shit. I mean, surely I've caught myself on fire doing that. Oh. Burned out more. Alan, my crotch has gotten singed a few times, angle grinding, burned more than a few pair of Levi's. I have never burned my pants. I always get my shirt right here in the front, right where the belly button is. And I got holes in my shirts right there from the angle grinder. And yeah. So when I'm going to do some angle grinding, I make sure I go find a shirt that's already got holes in it. And Debbie, I was just giving you shit. No worries. I just got briefly sidetracked because I almost never see you in there and never see you anymore. I mean, like if I want to say hi, I got to go to the movie theater and chase you down. But forge a mic stand, right? I could do that. See, I have a mic stand, but the problem is my little thing here broke, and well, it didn't break, but the rubber bit on it came off, and like right before the show, I mean, like I was going over some stuff with Yama, some settings, and so me and Yamaz are on voice chat on Discord, and I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, all right, I think I'm ready to go, and then this thing just rolls right off of the cart. I mean, because it's clamped on there and onto the rail. It should hold, right? No, and it just falls right over, dumps everything because I had my the mic on it, my earphones were on it, and yeah, it just all hit the floor, and I'm like, well, that's fun. What am I gonna do now? I guess I'm gonna hold the mic. I mean, I guess I could like put it back on there and see what happens, but never. Who would do that? Robert, I've done a lot of different stuff. I always thought when I was younger, I always thought I wanted to do something that I loved, and I've always wanted to, I've always felt that it was necessary to love my job, and if you don't love your job, you're doing the wrong job. And so I spent, a good portion of my life trying to find out what that is. And I've always also felt, because my dad was a jack of all trades and a master of none, he knew a little bit about everything, but not a lot about everything. And so I wanted to find that one thing and then know everything about that one thing and be the best in the world at doing that thing. Well, so, I start out, in the military. I'm an aircraft mechanic, and I'm not gonna lie. When it came to working on A10s, I was it. I was the shit. I was really good. I mean, like, I knew off the top of my head the crack progression on the wing spars, and I knew them by aircraft number. Like, like 665 is coming in next week. Okay, well, it was in here 9 months ago, and the crack progression was 92 thousandths. Okay, well, we get in there with the borescope and check it again. It's like, oh, we're at 96. All right, well, not a lot we can do about it. I mean, like, I knew that stuff, and it was, I don't know, it gave me the sense of, like, power, like, because I knew all this stuff, and I knew the individual jets. It was great. And the only thing that was funky is the wing spar bolts were tested to, they were torqued to 460 foot-pounds. I weighed at the time 110 pounds. You know how hard it is to apply 460 foot-pounds of torque when you weigh 110? So I have a 4-foot torque wrench, and I put it on the bolt. I grab onto the very end of it, turn upside down, put both of my feet against the bottom of the jet, and then use all of my strength, my arms and my legs, push it, or pulling down on the torque wrench until I get it to click. And people would just freak out when they see me doing that, and I'm like, if I'm the one that's got to torque the wing spar bolts, that's how I have to do it. I mean, if one of you bigger guys wants to come in here and just go, that's fine. But anyways, yeah, I did aircraft mechanicing, got out of the military, got my license to be an aircraft mechanic, still have that, and actually don't like working on aircraft in the civilian sector. That really sucks. I don't like it at all. I did that for a year, quit doing that, and I became a plumber, and I was a licensed plumber for about, I got my license, and I worked for like 4 months as a licensed plumber, and then I moved on to other things. That was a heavy equipment mechanic for a while, then I was an auto mechanic for a while, and then I got an offer to go to the oil field and be a swamper. And yeah, that was all right, but I didn't really love it. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then after 3 years of swamping, I was like, man, the only way I can make more money is if I get a CDL. So I went and got my CDL, and now I drive a tandem moving drilling rigs in the oil field, and I love my job. Absolutely love it. I mean, and people think I'm lying when I say if I won the lottery, I would still do my job because I have so much fun at it. Now, granted, I probably wouldn't work 100 hours a week anymore because I don't need to. But, I'd still want to make a couple rig moves a week. Just, I like taking them apart. I like putting them together. So I need to tell the story of jumping off a mountain. Oh, that is a good one. That is a good one. So one of the other things that, because the only people that have heard this story are the people sitting around the campfire, the Quad Squad guys. So I'm almost out of beer. I have to make a phone call to get another one. Let me see. I'm going to work on this while I tell this story. So I had a couple gold mines in Colorado, and that's not going to work. So, anyways. And my wife was flying home for, I don't know, visit her parents, I guess. And so I'm like, all right, so I drop her off in Denver. Because we were in Cheyenne at the time, and I drop her off in Denver, and I was like, all right, well, me and the dogs, we're going to go camping down in Durango up at the mines. And I was like, now, and I told her, I was like, now, just so you know, there's no phone service up there. It is a 4-hour drive to to phone service. I mean, which is only like, okay, no, it's a 2 hour drive, but it's 4 miles. And so I went, and me and I got two little wiener dogs with me, and these wiener dogs are her life. She's had them since they were puppies. Their names were George and Gracie, and yeah, I mean, I was responsible for them, and at this time she's had them for probably 12 or 13 years, and so we're up on the mountain, and I've got them on the little retractable leash things, and I mean, I'm at, I don't know, pretty close to 12,000 feet elevation at this time, and I mean, there's the portal to the mine right there, which I don't have the key for. I wasn't at my mine. I was at a friend of mine's mine, the Bessie G, which is the oldest continuously operating gold mine in the United States. It's been in continuous operation since like the late 1860s, and so I was just out on the outside because there's a lot of ore on the outside because the guy that had it before Bob did a lot of blasting in there, and there were just piles and piles and piles of ore. And when Bob got the mine, he trucked all that stuff out and built out this big shelf out in front of the mine, and that's all just gold ore. And anyway, so I'm just up there to pick through the tailings and the ore up there out front. And one of the guys that was with me, because I spent the first night by myself, well, then a friend of mine from Farmington came up. And so they came up to hang out with me for the weekend at camp. And my buddy looks at me and he's like, dude, why do you have the dogs on leashes? They can't go anywhere. It's 200 yards back to the pickup where the gate is. It's like, and out here, it's straight up and straight down. They can't go anywhere. And I was like, shit, that's a good point. Why didn't I think of that? And so I reached down and I unclipped both dogs. And the female, the male, they both walking around. The female walks over to the side, looks over, and there was a marmot, I don't know, maybe 50 yards down the mountain, like looking up at us from a rock, and she just jumped. And I mean, like, my heart sank, right? And I looked I went over there and I looked over the edge, and she was tumbling like in a circle, so she's like in a circle, her body is, and then she's just bouncing about 4 feet in the air, and every time she hit, I'd hear, "Arr!" And she's just rolling, and ass over tea kettle down the mountain, and I just jumped, and I was running down the mountain for 3 steps. That's it, 3 steps. That's as far as I made it. I was then traveling faster than I could run, and then I started going ass over tea kettle, head over. I mean, like literally in a circle shape, all the way down, and every time I would come upright, I would look for where the dog is at, and I would throw an arm out and whack the rocks on my way, and adjust my trajectory by throwing my arms out as I was rolling down. And I mean, I couldn't even stop. There's nothing I could do. We went down, God, I think it was like 1,800 feet is how far we went down the mountain, and I don't know. It was crazy. I lost everything that was in my pockets. I lost on the scree pile, my phone, my knife, everything. And Paul Archer, a swamper, is the guy that helps. So like I drive the truck, and my swamper gets out and hooks me up to the pieces and unhooks me from them when I pick them up and set them down. Anyways. Yeah, so I got all the way to the bottom, and I finally get to the dog, and she's still alive, and she's just like shivering, and she's got blood coming out of her butt and blood coming out of her nose, and I'm like, okay, check, I got everything, all my pieces, and then about that time, I don't know, I made it maybe 20 feet back up the mountain with the dog when my friend came down, and he was like, what the hell are you thinking? I was like, I was trying to catch the dog. Anyways, yeah, we wound up leaving. We climbed back up instead of walking around and zigzagging and taking the like 3 mile easy walk to get back up. We went straight up the 1,800 feet up the scree pile, and that really sucked. But we got up to the top. My buddy had a first aid kit, and what do you call it? We put some coagulant on the dog to stop the bleeding, and then I was like, man, just in case something happens, we should probably get down where we're close to a vet, because as it is right now, we're like 6 or 7 hours from a vet. So we loaded everything up, went back to town, and yeah, right as soon as I hit phone service, I called Randy, and she answered the phone. She's like, what happened? Why are you calling me? You're a day early. And I was like, okay, just so you know, me and the dogs are okay. Yeah, she was not happy with that. And it actually turned out the dogs were both fine. They lived another 3 or so years after that. And yeah, good times. I didn't realize that I was fucked up until we were at Tim's house. And like, I got a shot of moonshine or whatever, and he's got a mirror in his house that where he took and he'd scrape the silver off the back of it's a big wall mirror, and he'd scrape the mirror like on the back of it, put a picture up against it, trace it out, and then he would scrape the silver off of it and then put that picture there. So this mirror has got like family pictures, like strategically placed around the mirror. Anyways, and they're on the they're behind the glass, so that was pretty cool. Anyways, I walked by it and I saw me and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? I mean, my face was all swole up, it was cut up, my back was all, I mean, I didn't even know I was fucked up. I wasn't sore, didn't hurt or anything, but yeah, my face was all cut up, my arms were cut up, and I never noticed. I was so worried about the dog. Yeah, my back, because all I was wearing was a white t-shirt and a pair of bib overalls. And so my back was all cut up, and yeah. The next day, let me tell you, you have not hurt until you've fallen 1,800 feet down a mountain. And that, I don't ever want to do that again. In hindsight, I could have just watched the dog go and then eased, because I wasn't gonna, I thought I was gonna catch the dog like mid-flight, like grab a hold of her and then like save her. But of course she's already, she had like, I don't know, 50-foot head start on me. I don't know. It was just like, oh my god, my wife is gonna kill me. And in hindsight, I'm lucky I survived that. If I hadn't had kids at that time already, I could have got a Darwin Award. Ooh. So who? I don't even know what I was gonna say there. I was gonna ask a question and then I forgot. Um, yeah, the mines that I had two of them. I had the Tippecanoe and the Snowstorm up in the La Plata Mountains, and they didn't ever have shit. I faked the assay to get the uh, what do you call it? The claim, the mining claim. I used ore from Bob's mine for my assays. Because I mean, and not even the good ore. I mean, it was like ounce and a half to a ton. It was what my assay was, or whatever, on his ore. The ore that he was actually harvesting was 20. He was getting 27 ounces to the ton on the stuff that he was digging out. The actual ore in my mind, all I was getting was zinc and nickel and tin and trace gold and trace silver. I did not have a telluride vein with any appreciable amount of gold in it, like calaverite or sylvanite or anything like that. So that's just I just had them for fun. Just go walk in there and you get I don't know. There is something so therapeutic about being a half mile underground and then just being in there with a hammer and chisel, chipping out little pieces of rocks. So you can take them home, heat them up, and melt the gold out of them. It's a good time. Thomas Goodamoo, welcome. Good evening. It is Beer 30 over here at Transcendental Artist Studios Shamrock Forge. Glad you could join us. And yeah, so I really do miss going mining because I really did enjoy that. Like I know people that would walk up to the portal and they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not going in there. Are you fucking kidding me? What if it collapses?" I'm like, dude, this bitch was dug in 1880. If it was going to collapse, it would have collapsed. I mean, unless we cause it ourselves with a hammer and the chisel, I mean, that's always a possibility. But I also had a very strict rule of never going into a mine alone, ever. There was always at least two of us in there. And if I could help it, there was two people outside and one person inside. I'm sorry, the other way. One person outside and two people inside. Just for that very reason, because I mean, no phone service. If I went into a mine by myself and like I fell down a stope or something like that and broke my leg, I'd be dead before anybody knew where I was at or knew how to find me. And that's actually what happened to I mean, well, not that's not exactly what happened, but the guy that had the Bessie G before Bob Ross, um, he was killed in a collapse in the mine, and then somehow Bob got the mine in probate or whatever. The family or whoever sold the mine, Bob bought it, and he's been working it since 1996, I think. Good times right there. Good times. Joined in a grim part. I was talking about mining. I mean, okay, yeah, somebody died, but that was a long, long time ago. A long, long time ago. I can still remember. Y'all better start dropping some super chats, or I'm gonna keep singing. I'm just kidding. Um, let me shoot a text message. Bring me a beer. Bring me a beer. Oh. Anyways, boy, that went on for a bit. I don't know if I went over that or not. I don't know. Maybe I did. I was gonna say, um, I don't know if I went over the what my plans for the show or not. I mean, if I didn't, I'll go over it again. I was just Debbie. Thank you. I was wondering what that word was, and I was like, I'll just text her and ask her what that meant. Maybe it was an acronym. Okay, yeah. I'm glad I'm alive too. That's probably that going down the mountain is probably the closest I've ever come to death that wasn't an intentional situation. So I'll just leave that at that. But yeah. Anyways, my thank you, George. Words are hard. I say that every week. I'm like, man, use your words, Alexis. Use your words. Um, all right, let me look in my phone here. Find Tiffany. There she is. And move that up there. Actually, I can just close that. It's good. Text. Hey, could you bring me the beer out of the freezer, please, and swap it out for one in the refrigerator? Thank you. That didn't work. Oh, I hit the wrong record. Hey, could you bring me the beer out of the freezer and swap it out with another one in the refrigerator? Thank you. There we go. Get to order a beer. Maybe. She could tell me to fuck off. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Telluride, like in Star Trek. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember that. So Tellurides. It's what Telluride, Colorado is named for. Tellurides are named for tellurilium. It's a metal that I've actually got some. There's something coming up with regarding tellurilium. Some experimentation coming up. That's going to be cool. And well, I don't know. It might be stupid. We'll find out. Anyways, tellurides combine with all sorts of different metals, and they form little brittle crystalline things. Like everybody's seen iron pyrite, right? Everybody's seen iron pyrite, and if you hit it with a hammer, it crumbles. Well, when you mix gold and tellurilium, it makes a similar crystal, but it's kind of a dull brown color, and it's called calaverite, and it's about 60% gold by weight, and the rest of it is tellurilium. And so it looks like iron pyrite, except it's kind of brown, and so you wouldn't know it's gold. It's just two metals combined, and they make and oxygen, nitrogen, stuff like that, and then it makes this brittle crystalline thing. And then when you bake it at 1,000 degrees for like 2 or 3 hours, all of the tellurilium evaporates and leaves the gold behind as flour, powder. And so that's tellurides. Tellurilium mixes with silver, copper. I mean, it mixes with almost anything as far as I know. But the ones that they call tellurides are silver, copper, gold, platinum, stuff like that. So and in each case, it makes one of these brittle crystalline things, and the way to recover your gold is either through roasting it, and which evaporates the tellurium, and then you grind up you crush your ore and recover the gold on a vibrating table, or you can leach it out with cyanide. And I wanted to do cyanide leaching, but yeah, the government says you can't have that. Sodium cyanide is too dangerous for you. You need a license. And I was like, oh, fuck you. I'll buy it from China. And then China said, oh, yeah, we sell you sodium cyanide. You must buy 55-gallon drum. I'm sorry. That was really fucking not cool of me to do. Cultural appropriation. I apologize if somebody is Asian. Yeah, but basically China said I had to buy a 55-gallon drum of sodium cyanide, and I'm like, I need a cup, like 500 grams. Yeah, no, and God, I think it was like, I want to say the 55-gallon drum was going to be like $8,000, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. Thomas, no, I am just chatting, and that is the nature of the beast. Thank you so much. Oh, I am just chatting, and this is kind of a new thing. Me and Yamez, and well, we tried to involve Adam, but Adam won't hit us back in the Discord chat because he's a bitch. And you can tell him I said that. But the idea was that we could all kind of like, because we all kind of do this channel, I mean, we do the what do you call it, Sunday show and whatnot, and I decided, I was like, well, hey, what if we all kind of did a show, because we all do this together, the three of us, the Impractical Blacksmiths. The only reason that we didn't go with renaming the channel the Impractical Blacksmiths or Impractical Blacksmithing is because the brand is kind of already built around Island Metal Forge, so we just kind of left that alone. And yeah, that's the long and short of it there. So I asked Yamez the other day, I was like, hey, what do you think about doing some different type of shows, some different type of content that's not just blacksmithing? In this particular instance right now, I could, fire up the forge and do some blacksmithing because I actually set my shit up out here in the shop. I'm not going to. I might do that tomorrow. We'll see, but I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I'll play that by ear. I could do something, but I'm not sure what. But the problem is I've only got this little webcam here. I don't have the fancy camera you can plug into the TV or into the computer or anything like that. All I've got is the little webcam that it comes with. And I mean, and if I'm forging, there's not much, I don't get to see the conversation, so I'm not a part of that. And I'm just sitting here talking. You guys can't see what I'm doing because the camera's too far away. And then we're dealing with like shitty content. So, I don't know that you guys would really want to watch that because I don't have the technical stuff to really get it done. And so, anyways, I told Yamez, hey, I want to do a type of show that's, basically the opposite of what we do on Sunday morning, where, we come in on Sunday morning and it's, obviously it's family friendly. We try not to cuss as hard as we can every now and then. I mean, like, I'm oil field trash, and sometimes they just are part of natural conversation, and I can't stop it. my brain cannot override my mouth fast enough before it comes out, and I'm like, oh shit, hot mic. And so my idea was to do a show that's a little bit different, where it's there's a warning at the beginning. This is not a family friendly show. We're going to be, or I at least am going to be speaking as an adult, using profanity where it is appropriate. I mean, like it is a good descriptor from time to time. And I'm going to be drinking beer, and and anybody else wants to drink a beer, have a beer with me. I mean, like, I don't even got to drop anything. If you want me to drop something, I don't have anything I can drop that won't break. So you're shit out of luck. But yeah, no, the idea was just, it was going to be, I was going to, instead of coming in this with a plan and a family friendly environment and all that, it's like I'm coming in with no plan. It's unleashed. It means like, it's raw, unfiltered. You can say what you want to say. I'll say what I want to say. Say it the way you want to say it. I'll say it the way I want to say it. Whatever. I mean, just like no rules other than no hate speech. And so just and I could rant all day about one subject. I could rant all day about some other. Not all day, but the hour and a half, whatever the show winds up being. So yeah, I wanted to do a show where this group of people, the people that come into the Sunday shows, the morning show and the evening show on Sundays, and we all just kind of we do this in the chat. Well, I mean, obviously you can't see what I'm pointing at, but we do this in the chat where we talk to each other and whatever, and we have our own little conversation that has nothing to do with the blacksmithing going on the screen. But I did tell Yamez, I was like, the exception was forge welding that octopus. Everybody was riveted watching that forge weld. But most of the time it's like the 10 episodes of drawing out the tentacles. It's like I don't think we even noticed a single tentacle. But anyways, yeah, this show is just supposed to be, hey, let's sit in here and you got something bothering you, bring it up. Say, hey, my I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out where. No, I should. I don't know. Yeah. I say my city council member revoked my livestock license last week, and now they're fining me $25 a day for my fucking chickens. I mean, like, you want to. I just made all that up off the top of my head, but it's just like, you got to rant about something, bring it up, whatever. But if not, I'm gonna sit here and just talk about what's either bothering me or what I'm really stoked about, or a little bit more in depth and the good part is when I get sidetracked, I can just take the sidetrack. I don't have to come back. I mean, I'll try, but I don't have to. I can just take the sidetrack and hopefully it doesn't go off into Clayton Ravine. And that is who can tell me what that reference is? Who can tell me if the track's going off into Clayton Ravine? Where's that from? Yeah, Adam is night shift, but I mean, to be fair, I did send a message in the Discord chat 2 days ago and tagged him in it, and he's been tagged every day in it since, and still hasn't responded. So yeah, I mean, he does work. I know he works nights over there, so it's days over here. So like, yeah. George Anderson, Island Metal Forge. There are a series of small islands that come together to form one community. Hey, there you go. That's a good little that's a good little thing there. I like that. I'm gonna have to tell Yamas to steal that. But yeah, and expanding on the I know mic stand. I know. You know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna put the mic down and I'm gonna fix this shit. Give me 1 minute. Tightening the screw, tightening the screw. Ugh. That's not going anywhere. All right. Let's see how this works. All right, are we hands-free? Are we hands-free? I think we are. Nice. All right. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. And thanks for, making that a point 6 or 7 times. Oh, you know what? Hey, on Sunday, somebody asked, remember I was talking to, oh, no, it wasn't Sunday. Who was, it was Saturday. Last Saturday, I was telling Jack Pines, hey, you should try the 1 inch, the was it the 1 inch? No, the cube challenge. I was telling him you should try the cube challenge, which is where you take a piece of 1 inch by 1 inch by 4 inch long stock, and then you have 1 pair of tongs, 1 hammer, and 7 heats to turn it into a cube. And we were wondering what size that would be. And this is my cube. I actually did it in 6 heats, and the 7th heat I touch marked all 6 sides. This is the second one. The first one I did on video, and my SD card got corrupted, and I lost it. I lost the video, so I redid it at Hans's house, and that is the one where if you look back, it's the cube challenge video, but that's the one where the grinder skipped across my hand and took all of the skin off of my this thumb down to the bone, and yeah, that was fun. And now I don't run a angle grinder one handed. But anyways, the cube for the cube challenge here. Okay, it's not a perfect cube. It looks like it is, but it's not. This thing varies between 1.5 inches and 1 3/8 inches. So some sides are 1.5 inches, some sides are 1 3/8 inches. And that's what I got out of a piece of 1 inch by 1 inch by 4 inch. So 4 cubic inches of steel is now maybe an inch and maybe what's the inch and 9/16 or what's 7/16. So it should average an inch and 7/16 after scale loss and everything else. So yeah. You think it would be okay to get some forging in? Was that to me or to somebody else? Oh yes. And you. I did notice, Thomas. You were noticing the shot. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just the webcam. I mean, yeah. Obviously, the mic doesn't work when I'm away from it, but. I mean, right over here, got that forge, the angle, the vise. I mean, everything's just right here. So, I mean, it would work, but I mean, I feel like I'd be too far away. I don't know. I don't know. When the video catches up, I'll see what it looks like. But all right. Well, where else is it? Where? And you said you were seeking beverages. Where is mine? Well, I'm not really sure. Where's my trash bucket? I guess I'll just set that there until later. And oh yeah, here's something I don't think anybody's seen. Serving beverages. No. I didn't say I was serving beverages, Ben. I said I was drinking beverages. I think, but so yeah, I made this little thing right here, and man, I can't. I don't know. Maybe I can do it. Hold on. OBS. And let me open that. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's way better. So this thing right here, it's a piece of that spline steel stuff. And just, it goes on my keychain. And, yeah. That's what that's for. And, yeah. Oh. And Ben, where's your beer? Go get one. Hurry up. Or tell your old lady to get you one. That always works. Thomas, because I work sporadically, sometimes night shift, sometimes day shift. I didn't really want to do a schedule thing. It's more along the lines of like, it'd probably be late in the evening like it is right now. I mean, for me, it's what? 10 o'clock, so I was thinking, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, something like that, later in the evening. And I mean, it could be Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. I mean, for me, it really doesn't matter because the weekends don't mean anything to me. I mean, I work every day of the week. Well, or I work no day of the week. It doesn't matter. It's just if there's work, we work. If there's not, we don't. And so because of that schedule, it's really difficult to lay down and be like, okay, I'm going to do this every day or whatever. And also, so I know I can do it on my days off. Like right now, between today and Sunday, I'm on days off. I'm off the third weekend of every month. And I can do whatever the hell I want. I can do this stream once a month. I don't know how often it's going to go. I just wanted to say, get on here, jump on, and drop some F-bombs and say, oh man, that was awesome. Anyways, I don't know. I know I can do it at least once a month, but at work, I'm not going to take my computer outside because there's just way too much sand blowing around, and I mean it won't make it very long outside, so it's got to stay in the room at work. But yeah. So no schedule for the time being, other than I will do this show at least once a month when I'm at home. That's the best I could do. And I don't know. I mean, Thursday or Friday. That's the best. Um, the heart thing in the bottom corner of the chat screen. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Ben's like, yes, it's huge. That's what she said. Yeah, but not to you. Oh, are you a wizard? I am a wizard. Let me. I gotta take my damn headphones off again. Damn it, hold on. Oh. And I went with these earbuds instead of my over-the-ear ones just because they're a little less bulky. So in 2014, I broke my leg ice skating with my daughters in Odessa. And once I got off the crutches, I bought a cane. And I bought this thing on eBay for like, I think, $75. And it's got a, see there, you can kind of see it. It's got a 2013 Silver Eagle popped into the top of it there. And I don't know. I walked with a cane for probably 6 to 9 months, maybe, before I was comfortable not having it. But yeah, so that's my wizard stick. Let's see. Okay, well, and here I am. I'm reading, and reading is dead air. So, yeah, math, nicely done. I gotta assume that's talking about the Debbie. Are you making fun of my shorts? uh, yeah, that's what I had. But um, yeah, but I don't have one. I should probably get one, but um, it's just okay. So this production, okay, for this is new, right? And I'm not really prepared for it, other than the fact that I was like, "Hey, Yamez, do you mind if I do the show?" And Yamez is like, "Fucking get her, bud," and I'm like, "Sweet," and he's like, "But we probably should get Speargrasses. We should probably get Adam's approval first." And I was like, "Adam's approval? Fuck him. I mean, you and me. I mean, we're 66%. I mean, that's a 2/3 majority. I mean, no, Adam wouldn't have any trouble with it. But the point we were wanting to get a hold of him about is trying to convince him to do the same thing, only something different. I mean, like this is the thing that I wanted to do, was just kind of like a little sit down and bullshit show, where we can just talk about this, that, and the other, or and whatever. And oh, you could hear me when I was talking over by the anvil. Oh, I'll be damned. I didn't think this mic would pick up when you get very far away. How does it sound right here? Is this let me move that out over there. Turn it just a little bit. How does that sound? Is that too quiet, or you know? For just $2 a month, you can give them the drink that you need. That's right. Become a member and help us buy new equipment. Um, we actually did. I bought my soundboard. This is the second one because I broke the first one. But I bought my soundboard. You know what, Robert Lonis? I did see that, and I haven't tried it yet. I saw the TikTok video. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I know I saw somebody go, "What? No way!" and then tried it and couldn't get it to work. It's like, for fuck's sakes, that doesn't work. But so, in any case, though, there went my train. Oh yeah. I did buy the better studio equipment, the soundboard, so I could mess with the treble and the bass, and Lauren Wimberly, this is Yamez's channel, sort of. This is the channel for the Impractical Blacksmiths, and I am doing a show on Yamez's channel. That's all. There's three of us, Yamez, I'm Alex, and then there's Adam, and we're all gonna, at some point in time, be doing like random shows. That's all. Hmm. Lauren, no, I shouldn't be. I mean, I'm on the Sunday show every. Well, I mean, okay, maybe you don't come to church. I'm on the Sunday morning show almost every week, and then I'm all up in the chat on the Sunday evening show, cracking jokes and making fun of Yamez. But yeah, and I was the first member of the Quad Squad to actually come to Yamez's shop. So there was that. God, that was a good time. And I sure do know how easy it is to lose something in his shop because everything in there is the color of rust. Everything. And yeah, as Ben Toombs said, we're trying a different type of show, and not just the regular stuff we do on Sundays. Because I mean, to be honest, we all hate editing videos with an absolute passion. And George Anderson, thanks for the $2 super chat. Do appreciate it. That'll go right up into the fund for either an adult beverage or getting Adam a soundboard because we the last draw we got Yamez a soundboard, and maybe we can get Adam one with the next one. I don't know. He's got to want it though. I mean, if he doesn't want one, fine. But I like it because I can adjust the tone, and I've got all of these little. I've got preloaded sounds and claps, and but I almost never use them. My last soundboard is the one that I could record sounds on, and so I had the recording of Adam saying something about a book. I don't remember what it was now, and I had the recording of what was it? Oh, the to be fair. I had that on a button, but I can't do that anymore because this one doesn't have recordable buttons. It said it did when I bought it, but it doesn't. Yeah, there you go. Crypto Smith is Yamez because I am currently using the Island Metal Forge moniker because I'm live from my house on the channel. He can't type under Island Metal Forge, so if I'm hosting and I type, it's going to come out as Island Metal Forge. Well, I guess I could do Alexis Sullivan on my phone, but well, I guess I could do Transcendental Artist Studio on my phone too. Yeah, I'm an idiot, but yeah. Yeah, Lauren uses a golf club handle with an arrow field point as a cane. Huh. That would probably a golf club. That's a pretty good idea. I like that. Debbie, I know you said I was rocking the shorts. I know you weren't making fun of me. I was just giving you shit. That's all. If I didn't give you shit, you wouldn't think I loved you. So. Oh. Lauren, I was just thinking that. I was like, that would work really good for one of them, like trash picker upper thingies. Be like, oh, can. Yeah, my the arrows I have, I don't have one here anymore. I used to have some arrows right here that were they're bolts for my crossbow. I've got when I bought it, it was the second fastest crossbow in the world. 372 feet per second, whatever. The Ghost 400 was a skosh faster, but it was also $400 more expensive. So I did not buy the Ghost 400. I bought the Ghost 350, 370, 380 feet per second. It is just a tad under supersonic. It's freaking crazy. When you shoot it, you can't see the arrow until it stops. But I used to have a couple bolts around here, but Yeah, I had bolts put up, made up for it like 10 years ago with Luminox and the blades. I don't know what they're called. The points that they have the blades that pop out when it hits. And oh, sorry. Okay, my bad, Paul. My bad. I'll get a little closer there. Um, that is my fault. I was looking around and talking in that direction and I was backed off from the mic. Um, okay, that sounds better, but not eating the mic. All right, how about there? Maybe. I got to figure it out. I could turn the mic down too, so there's that. But yeah, so yeah, my crossbow's hanging up over on the side. It's only been fired at a target, and the Luminox don't work anymore because, um, yeah, it's been 10 years. Um, so living the dream. That's Ben. Ben's living the dream. Oh, in any case, I don't know. That's what I had on my mind today. Have a beer, have a smoke. Um, does anybody know who was asking about that? I mean, like, I don't know about that cube challenge thing because, um, yeah, okay, no problems, Lauren. Yeah, I know. I was just kind of explaining because, I did kind of lay it out at the beginning, and but if you pop in after the beginning, then eh, obviously you're not going to catch the gist of what the hell's going on here. That's not Yamez. Thank God it's not Yamez. Whew. I hate to be that guy for a day. I have to do electrical work. Uh, so was it? So maybe was it just quiet when I was turning my head and like looking the other way like that, or was it quiet when I'm just backed up off the mic? Because it's really hard for me to gauge the um, volume that you guys are getting. I can see it, but it really doesn't tell me anything because I'm hard of hearing anyways. So I mean, I can talk right here and it's fine, or I could talk right up on the mic, and but I could talk up here anyways, and then turn my mic down on the soundboard. I don't know. Trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. Yamez lost the bottle opener. It has to be Yamez because he loses everything. And yeah, that is why you haven't got one yet from me, Thomas, because this was sitting on the floor right below where I'm sitting right now. Um, and I don't know how it got there, but that's why it didn't make it back to Midland with me, is because it wasn't with the rest of my shit last time when I picked it up and took it home. So because I used it last time I was here to make the dies for the copper Roman coin that I'm still gonna make. There's the disc of copper, and I've got both dies back here. And I just I gotta take my number stamps and put in the date in Roman numerals on the obverse or the reverse, and the obverse is my touch mark, and then I'll heat the copper coin up, put it in between the dies, and smack it, and make a coin. Lauren, as an intro, you've been smithing since 1983. That is a long time. My sister was born in 1983, and my first ex-wife. I have been smithing for 4 years, maybe. Ben and Lauren are mods for Jason Knight. What happened to his lives? You know, and bringing that up. I mean, back I remember when this first started. I don't know, I can't remember, 4 years ago maybe. It's got to be four. I don't know. Well, but anyways, the whole like quad when the whole quad squad got together at John Coffey's house for the first one. Hold on, it's on my arm. 2018. So when this started back in 2018, um, yeah, I mean there was a live stream every week or every day of the week, and some days there were two live streams or more, and one would feed into the next. You know, I mean it's like so. I mean like everybody would kind of get together and like schedule. Hey, okay, well, what day are you going live? Okay, so okay, or you know the people that weren't in the the chat or whatever, we just knew when theirs were, and the rest of us would schedule around it. You know, and then slowly but surely everybody fell off and everybody quit doing lives. And I don't know, maybe it's I don't really know why. I know why I couldn't do them anymore. Is because YouTube took away that if you don't have the 1,000 subscribers and the watch time or whatever, you couldn't go live. And so like literally, I was working on my process and all that, and trying to get better at doing lives. And so I did a live stream, and then the next day, I did a live stream, and the wind was screwing me. And I went and I got a sock and I put it over the phone so that it wouldn't the wind, you couldn't hear the wind anymore. But the wind kept blowing my tripod over. And finally, I was like, all right, screw it. I'll just do this tomorrow. The next day, the weather is beautiful, and I went to go live and I couldn't because that was the day that YouTube's new rules went into effect. And I was like, aw. And so I mean, I can still do it now because I got a computer, and well, I mean, I could do this on my channel, but I mean, hey, no, nobody's gonna see it there. So put it up here. Got a couple crossbows. You prefer a recurve stick bow? I haven't had one of those since I was like 13, 14 years old. Yeah, I bought I bought the crossbow because when I lived in Wyoming, Wyoming and Texas are the only two places you can hunt with a crossbow without a disability. And so I bought it in Wyoming. Sorry, I'm looking away again. I bought it in Wyoming because the deer would just be in my front yard eating my lawn, like right there through the screen door, 10 feet away. And my wife would have killed me if I discharged a rifle in the house and shot through the screen at a deer. And so I brought a crossbow so I could shoot through the screen with a crossbow. And then I never did. I wound up moving before I ever got a chance to get a deer from the comfort of my office. The office is the room that had the door that looked out where they were at. But yeah, never did. Yeah, so it's never fired at anything but anything but I keep looking over there and realizing the mic isn't over there. It's only 8:30 in Ben's neck of the wood. I had one of my estranged kids show up here. Up Ben, gave him a house, and he came included with 2 grown grandchildren. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, Paul. That's right. That's what it was. We were trying to. So yeah, I couldn't remember who it was I was talking to in Jack's stream about that cube, and I was like, man, and I was just like, I could just measure it because it's in my closet. Because this is one of those things I gave it. I gave Alan Schooner hubcap. I gave him the first one that I did that I didn't get on video. He asked me if he could have it, and I was like, sure. And then this one here I gave to my sister. And then when she passed, this is the one thing that she had of mine that I wanted back. And it took us probably 9 or 10 hours of digging through stuff before we found it, because she had just moved into the house she was in. And so lots of stuff was still in boxes. And yeah, finally found it. And I was like, woo. I mean, yes, I could have made another one, but it was the sentimental value, And Lauren, there's no worries. Yeah, you don't have to hold your tongue. This show here, not the Sunday shows, but this show is say whatever the fuck you want. And if anybody has a problem with it, you don't have to come to the stream. It's just we're just here to do whatever we want. I'm about a foot away from the mic. All right. So that would be right about here. And so I'll give this a shot for a minute, and you guys can tell me if that is a better spot. Because, like I said, I'm just trying to figure it out, man. I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't need the cane. And I don't profess to be particularly good at blacksmithing. I'm not. I like to try things at least once, and that, I mean, like, not. I tried blacksmithing, not anymore. No, but I mean, like as far as blacksmithing goes, I want to make everything once. You know, after I've made it the first, and I've talked to my therapist about this. It's like, it's part of the ADD, ADHD, whatever. Is I it's there's no dopamine release when I'm doing something the second time. I get this dopamine release when I complete something the first time successfully. It's like, yay, I did it. But then the second time, it's like, so what? I've already done that. Your touch mark lives in your pocket because going back and forth from your shop to Roy's shop. Yeah, yeah, I hear that. Mine does too. Mine, well, it's too heavy to put in my pocket, but yeah, I mean, it goes in my tool bucket when I go home and work. Because I mean, I could leave it at one place, but then that really precludes me from doing anything when um, I'm at one place or the other. You know. Hold on, just a second. You know, I mean, this is kind of that example. You know, this is the only sword I've ever made. You know, I mean, it was the rail spike challenge from James Duncan. You know, make something out of a rail spike or incorporate a rail spike in a weapon to defend your toilet paper stash. And so it's twisted Damascus 1080 and 15N20 and one piece of 4140 down the middle of it. And that's the only sword I've ever made. Might make another one someday, but I mean, I don't feel this pressing need to do it. I mean, I just made that because it was a challenge, you know, or one of those YouTube challenge things. Not a swords are challenging, but they are. But I don't really, I don't. That's not really. I don't find that satisfying. I like the weird stuff. You know, like I made dies to stamp a coin. Um, this is part of a rasp snake. You know, I've got this one here. I mean, I just started it. You know, it's I've got the tongue split and that. And then I got two more here that these are all part of a project, and they're all going to be something eventually. I need two. I've got two done, and I need to do three more, and maybe that'd give you a little clue of what I'm building with that. Um, Yeah, so I mean, but this is okay. So the first one I made, the first rat snake I made, I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. The second one, I was like, it's still all right, but not as fun as the first one. But I also know that these are just part of a much larger project. So um, it's still kind of satisfying because I know this is going to make something bigger later on, and hopefully I don't screw it all up and wind up throwing shit up against the wall and being like, all right, fuck this gallery project, I'm out. No internet. Yeah, that's right. 1983, there wasn't even internet. I mean, hell, when I was in the Air Force, we didn't even have internet yet. Well, I mean, the internet existed, but um, it was back in like the message board days. There was, you had to have a really powerful computer because I was in the Air Force when Windows 3.1 came out. So, and I think my first experience with a computer was writing a program to play Pong on a Commodore 64. And there I go again, reading the chat and not talking. And it's like, hmm, okay, yeah, everybody's just going to sit here and watch me read the chat. I bet that's compelling, right? Uh, oh, man. Oh. I forgot. So this is a project that I've been working on for 2 years. All right. It's a little dagger. And this was, and the pommel is already threaded and screwed on there. The pommel is makame gane. It's half of a stack of dimes. That's the other half of the stack of dimes is, well, half of the other half of the stack. I took a roll of dimes and made makame out of it, and it broke into two pieces. And then the one of the pieces broke into two pieces again. So that is a quarter of the stack, and that is half of the stack. And the guard is a piece of stainless. I don't know what it is. It's stainless steel, but I don't remember what it was before I. I think it was a gasket, a BOP gasket. But the blade is a piece of when I was doing my building a spring for my post vise, my 4-inch post vise. I had this piece of spring that was quote unquote wrought iron that John Coffey gave me, and I'm thinking wrought iron. It's not hardenable, so no worries. And so I made my spring for my post vise, and it when I got done with it, I just dumped it in the old quench tank or the slack tub and cooled it off. Threw it in the vise. Went to close the vise the first time, and it just like snap and broke right off. And a little bitty 2-inch piece of that spring, maybe 2 inches long, an inch and a half wide, broke off. And I made this out of that little bitty piece. And I've been working on it for like 2 years, and I'm to the point now where I need to find a handle. And last week I cut some antler for it, and then when I went to go do the pommel, the end wasn't round enough, so I had to heat it back up and like hammer it out a little bit rounder so I could thread it and in the die. And then after I did that, it got longer, and now the piece of antler that I cut for it is too short. So now I'm like, I brought it with me so I could like look around here and see if I could find something to use. And I mean, I got a piece of mesquite over here on the floor that is, I don't know, it probably weighs 30 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit big. I don't know. I'm gonna have lunch with my mom. I'm gonna have lunch with my mom tomorrow, and I'll take my battery operated sawzall and go cut down a. She's got some that are about that big around, some mesquite trees in the back. I'll go cut one down, throw it in the back of my truck, and there you go. All right, so let's see. Uh, Time to get it done took a while. Yeah, it knives, blade objects always take me a long time. This sword took me a year. Took me a year to finish it. That thing there, I've been working on it for it feels like 2 years. Maybe it's only been a year. And I've got another knife back there on the counter that is a piece of cable Damascus off of my truck, and I made that. I know I made that 2 years ago, and then not this year, but the year before, I bought handle scales for at Quad State, and it's sitting over there with those scales pinned onto it, but I haven't sanded it. I haven't ground it all down. It's been sitting. It's been sitting there for 6 months. But I started that project at least 2 years ago. And blades take me a long time because I don't like anything you do after you forge it. Like I love forging it out, but then once you get past that point, I'm like, nah, the rest of this is gonna suck. I hate grinding, all of it. I can't sharpen a knife. I can't sharpen a knife to save my own ass. It's just, I hate it. Yes, that's right. The sword was for the toilet paper challenge. That's right, Ben. Um, yeah. So, Lauren, the son I mentioned, he's got ADHD. He's just like that. Yeah, and I saw but I mean, like I can do a hammer. I mean, like I can sit down and make a hammer, and I mean, it'd take me all day if I'm doing it by myself. But if I've got Daniel Crawford over at my place, I swear every time he comes over, I'm like, "Hey, you want to make a hammer? Help me punch this hammer real quick," you know. And I swear that's he thinks that's all I use him for is to strike for me when we're so I can punch a hammer eye. But I can finish a hammer out, and you know, I mean, once I start it, I'll take it all the way to heat treat. It might take me a little bit longer because I got to wait and go get handle, but so it might take me longer to handle it. But I'll finish a hammer. I'll finish making a chisel or a punch or a drift, for start to finish all in one shot. But knives, swords, blade objects, no. I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've ever had one take less than a year. Oh, Lauren, your hair is longer than mine. Well, I mean, to be fair, I've only been growing mine for 3 years. So, until 3 years ago, I never had hair longer than 2 inches in my entire life. And at 44, I got my last hair. At the age of 44, I got my last haircut on January 26th, 2020. That's the last time I got my haircut. And rail track, make a sword out of rail. I actually have a piece of rail that is I cut off. So I got a piece of wrought iron rail from Hans Groff, and I cut off, I think 3 or 4 inches of it, the whole thing, and then I cut the top off, and then I forged that piece of the top piece of the rail. I forged that out into a half-inch square bar that is maybe that long. See, there we go. Maybe about that long. And it is wrought rail, so it etches really weird. Not really weird, but it's a very, because it's high grade wrought. It's a really fine etch. And I mean, I got that far. I made the bar out of it because I was working on it by hand, and it was really really hard. And then so I decided I welded a handle on it. I brought it with me to Ohio last year, or yeah, it was this year. This last year, I used John's tire hammer to draw it out into a half-inch square bar. And well, this rail isn't high carbon because it's made out of wrought. Well, I mean, it's maybe high carbon wrought, but like the shear steel, like that piece of spring that I got that blade is made out of is called shear steel. Um, but so, and it is high carbon wrought. The rail could be. I don't know. I've never really checked. I don't think I've ever done a spark test on it, but I don't think it's spark tested. I think that's why we all thought it was wrought. I don't know, but it does etch. So you can definitely see the pattern in it when you etch it. Oh, so Air Force. I'm retired Air Force. First job was at Malmstrom Field Missile Maintenance Squadron. I don't have any idea where that's at. I've heard Maelstrom before, but I don't know where. Yeah, I was an A-10 crew chief. I spent 2 years in Spangdahlem, Germany, and 2 years in Tucson, Arizona. And oh yeah, hold on. I don't. I just realized I don't need those. Because I'm not listening to the. All I can hear is myself in them because I don't have the Discord thing open. So yeah, this just happens to be sitting back there. It lives there. I got two of them with tips. I picked the tips up myself at the range in between Tucson and Phoenix, and polished them myself. I polished the rounds as well because these come in green or brown. I've got two more empties, and then a string of those with a tracer in the middle, and then I got a blue one. I don't know what the blue one is, and then I got a armor piercing 50. Um, these are not live. They're filled with sand. Like I said, I got the empties from a machinist while I was in the Air Force because the empties are accountable items. You can't just have them. And I don't know how somebody else got them, but I traded for them, and I don't know. I think I wound up with a grocery sack full. But these are filled with sand, and I always told everybody, I was like, when I die, I want to be cremated, and I want my ashes put in these 2 bullets and put one on either side of the headboard or whatever, you know. Well, I'm not married anymore and don't intend to be ever again, so that's out. So, but somebody's gonna get a 30 millimeter with me inside it. So, those are pretty cool. In my house, I've also got a set of shot glasses, a 7 that are made out of these. They're cut off like right here, and so they make a perfect 1.5-ounce shot glass. Put the primer back in on the bottom on the outside, and then I used a spent shotgun shell primer on the inside, because you got the primer here, and then there's a blasting cap that sticks up about that far on the inside, and I just pop the blasting cap off and put a JB Weld, a shotgun shell primer over the top of it. But yeah, I traded all of the shells that I got for making the machinist. I made him a set of 7 shot glasses, and he gave me all the shells if I made him the shot glasses. So it was a good trade. And so I had enough to make myself a set and still have extra shells for this, that, and the other. And then the piece de resistance, I'm going to move the camera just a little bit, and I'm going to try to do it slowly. Ah! Sorry. But, okay, if you see hanging right there, this thing hanging that goes all the way across, that is a barrel off an A10. It's hanging off of some aluminum wire. There's an Uncle Buck's F-bomb hanging there. And then on this end, I've got the just some stuff stuck in the end of the barrel or what have you. But yeah, that's my A10 gun barrel. That is like one of the coolest things I own. Try to get that set back up. Maybe, maybe that'll work. See, are dimes the same makeup metal as quarters? Yes, they are. Dimes, quarters, half dollars are all cupro nickel coated with nickel, and they all do the same. I did dimes, and my cousin did half dollars. He did a stack of half dollars and made a bowl out of them. I thought the half dollars is. I mean, you know. So to be fair, you know, that's half a stack of dimes. So. You know, obviously the half dollar, you know, the bigger the coinage you use, the more you get out of it. Yeah, they're all the same. You know, I thought about using a leather spacer on the antler. I did, and I may wind up going that way. I literally was like not last night, but the night before yeah, it was the night before when I threaded it and everything, and then realized the antler wouldn't fit, and I was like, well, you know, I guess I could, you know, maybe I could just do a stacked leather handle, and I'm just out in the shop, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm not doing a fucking another stacked leather handle. I already did that once, and it came out shitty. I'm not doing that. And I was like, well, I could just use leather as a spacer then, and it'll also, you know, give it a little bit of oomph, you know. And then I was like, you know, but then if I do that and then the leather dries up, it's going to shrink and then everything's going to be loose. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've got to figure it out, but I don't know what I'm going to do, Thomas. I'll figure it out eventually. Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to turn something out of wood there, hubcap, because I think that would look good. I think that would look good. No pun intended. I don't know anything about wood, man. I don't. I know mesquite because I live in Texas. I cook with it, and it also makes real pretty shit. I mean, because it's a hardwood that's real dark in the middle, light on the outside, and the root burls are really neat looking. But that's the only wood I know anything about. I don't, you know, the rest of it, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to explain how little I know about wood. Like Daniel Baca had a stream one time, or a show where he was giving away a maple table leg, and he's like, all right, if you're gonna, you know, if you win the table leg, I want you to leave a comment and tell me what you're gonna do with the leg. And I was like, I'd just burn it. everybody else is like, I'd make this, I'd make that, I'd make this, I'd make that. I'm like, I'd just throw it in my fire pit and burn it, with outside while we're drinking beer. I don't. It's maple. I mean, is that like anything special? I mean, it seems like that would be just a common everyday wood. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know anything about wood, but Hubcap, if you've got something like that you think would look good on that, let me know. I mean, I can definitely try it out. I don't, I now, all I have is that piece of antler that's too short, and it's not even a little bit too short. I mean, because when I cut it at an angle on accident. It's also got, so it's, yeah, after I flatten it out, I'm definitely limited with, I mean, my space. I mean, I got like, what, a quarter of an inch now, 3/8 of an inch of gap, and I'm just like, you're an idiot. And I guess, I mean, technically I could like cut the end of the tang off and then rethread it and, and make it shorter, but I really don't want to, because the length it was gonna be before I did that, when you're holding it, the pommel's gonna be, like right around your little finger. Your little finger's gonna be wrapped around the pommel. And I thought that's just, or my hand. And now it's going to be right below or right above the pommel. So I actually think that I like that length a little bit better. Cyanoacrylate to stabilize the. I had never thought of that. Really? How does? I'll have to look that up because I've never even heard of that. I always just soaked it in boiled linseed oil, and that didn't ever really work very well. Yeah, Debbie. Obviously, you refuse to cut your hair. I've seen it. Yeah, your hair is amazing. Ming Dynasty time there. uh, yeah, you did kind of walk into that one there, Hubcap. Lauren, your last haircut was 2002. Retired from the Air Force in 1996. Since I had spent $5,600 in my time in the Air Force, I swore I had paid my haircut dues. Okay. So you figured up you paid $5,600 in haircuts from your entire time in the Air Force. That's a lot. Yeah, yeah. That is Hubcap. That is that rot buggy spring. That is indeed. That is what it is. It's a leaf out of the spring, anyways. Maelstrom is in Montana. It was a MM2 and 3 Tech. Okay, right on. Yeah, the A10 was, man. That's a machine right there. I mean, like when I got assigned to the A10, I was like, man, this is, I'm in basic training and getting my assignment for wherever I'm going, and it's like they sending me to Shepherd, and Shepherd is crew chief training for C-130s and for A10s, and I was like, oh man. And then my AFSC was 2A353J, so I was like, or 2A333J at that point in time, but I got out at 2A353. And I was like, oh man, the A10 is ugly, because I was like, I wanted to be on an F16 or an F15 or the the F117. I really wanted the F117 because that was the F117 was stationed where my grandparents lived, and I wanted to kind of be near them. But yeah, that didn't really work out. And in hindsight, I'm kind of glad. I mean, like once I actually got on the A10 and started working on it, I was like, this is a bad bitch right here. I mean, like seeing pictures of I mean, like I had buddies that that were in the Gulf War that they had. This is back before digital cameras, so they had 35 millimeter printed out pictures. You take pictures with a camera or disposable camera or your Canon A1, and you go have your film developed. But they had pictures of aircraft that came in with like one side of the tail missing, half of a wing missing, and they still brought them in and landed them in manual reversion, fly by a cable. And it's like, wow, 50 BMG cases for dagger handles. That's actually not a bad idea right there, huh? That'd work out pretty good. I don't have any 50 BMG cases though, so I couldn't really do that. I mean, I do have that 150 cal, but that armor piercing round is off of a Blackhawk, and I don't really want to use that. I did drill a hole in it and take all the powder out of it though, because yeah, I'm a little nervous like that. The stuff that's on a chain, I didn't. That's all still live though. I've never seen. I can picture it, and I mean, like, I guess I'm assuming a 50 BMG is the same size as this, huh? Maybe it's bigger. I don't know, because this is like I said, this is a 50 off of a Blackhawk armor piercing. Not, I don't know. Maybe the BMG is bigger than that. I don't know. What do you think there, Lauren? That's about. I don't know what the gun is on the Blackhawk. This is the guy that gave it to me told me where he got it, and I was like, all right, cool, and I don't even remember what I traded for that, but I traded 30 millimeter empties for it. Yeah. Those were good. Those were a good trade. I actually had a guy that barrel, that A10 gun barrel up there. It's one of 3 known to exist that are not demilled. 2 known to exist that are not demilled. Not that there aren't more that I know of, because I had 3 of them. I did the one that I gave away as a plaque that was polished. I did demill that one, but that one is not demilled. It will still chamber and fire a 30 millimeter round. And yeah, I had a guy offer to trade me straight across for a 50 cal for that barrel, and I was like, I don't think so. That's kind of the coolest thing I own. And sometime later, I was like, hey, man, you still want to trade? He's like, oh, well, I don't know. I mean, like, I'd have to see it. And this, that, and the other. I was like, all right, well. And then, yeah, it just kind of fell through. And I'm kind of glad now. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'd have traded him for that 50 cal, between then and now, I would have been hard up for cash and sold it. So I can't sell that. Well, I mean, I can, but they go for like 10 grand. I would never sell it, or at least I wouldn't now. I mean, when I die, my kids can figure out what to do with it, and I guarantee you, because they don't know what it is, they're going to throw it in the pile with the rest of the metal, and it's going to get sold for scrap. Devi, what pun did I plan? I didn't. I am not aware of a pun. Somebody hooked me up because I just was speaking. Time it be. Oh, it's about that time. Oh. Yeah, I can't believe I've only had 2 beers in the entire time I've been live here. That is so unlike me, especially this late in the evening. I mean, I'm gonna have to get a whiskey and Pepsi here in a minute. In fact, I'm drinking so slow that my beer is warm. That is unacceptable. Hit Yamez in the shin. Ben, that's your job. You're supposed to hit Yamez in the shin. Oh yeah, Southern New Mexico. That's I kind of grew up in the Alamogordo. I spent my summers in the Alamogordo area. So southeast, just a little bit further east than Las Cruces, a little bit up around the Cloudcroft area. My grandpa used to take me digging through tailings pile of turquoise and silver mines up there around Cloudcroft ish. But yeah, good times. I prefer the Four Corners though. That is a really, really nice area. I like the mountains. It's right there at the foot of the Rockies. So I really like Farmington, New Mexico. I lived there for 6 or 7 years, I think. 2002 until 2010. I lived there for 8 years. Then I did 2 years in Wyoming, and I've been in Texas now for 10. So all wood can become firewood. That's right, Robert Whitney. All wood can become firewood, and especially when it's chilly and you want a fire pit. I got a stack of pallets out here that were for the fire pit out here for this winter. I'm never here. My kids are here, and yeah, the pile of pallets is still there. Now, to be fair, I didn't bring them; somebody else did. And yeah, I've still got a pile of pallets outside my shop door that never got turned into a fire. Yay! You'll see what you got going on in the shop on Friday. Okay, Alan, no rush. Don't make an extra trip on my account. But if you happen to be in the area, that'd be cool. Let me know. Brass spacers will work too. I don't think I have any. If I was gonna do I have some flat copper, but I don't know. That's a thought, but I might try the cyanoacrylate on leather though. That's interesting, and I haven't done that before. So I could definitely go that route. And if I was gonna make a brass spacer, I would have to pour it, and that's a whole extra step. You know, I mean, yeah, I've already got the bronze gathered up um for next month's like historical questline project for blacksmith church. I've already got the bronze saved up for that project. I've got the copper for my Rome project here, and I never did do the Celtic knot though. I just kind of said no, fuck that. I don't have that much enthusiasm. And Ben, that is right. Super glue works amazing on cuts. I have a tube I get the Loctite brand stuff in the little squeeze tube, not the little metal tubes, but the little plastic squeeze tube. And I have one in the console of my pickup. I've got one on my shelf next to the mirror in my bathroom, and then I've got one in the first aid kit in my big truck. Because yep, that's exactly right. Boy, you cut yourself, and you're like, ooh, shit, that's bleeding everywhere. You just squeeze it shut and dab some super glue on the top and wait for it to dry, and then you're like, okay. And I love the way, because cyanoacrylate does the same thing in contact with blood that it does with like baking soda. It kind of bubbles up, and so you wind up with this great big, like, well, it's not great big, but in comparison to the cut, you get this big old bump where it mixed with where the glue mixed with the blood. That's what I was trying to say. Minuteman 2 and Minuteman 3. Oh, the MM2 and MM3. Right. Ooh, cool. Ben, you're not 5'1". You're 4'8". Man, I could have really come up with a much better number than that. Yeah, I have used super glue to fix my ass more times than I can count. Not my ass, but uh, just random. Like one time, I was sharpening an axe with a file, and it just like slipped and hit me right across the right there, the pad of my thumb, and I mean it just slid right through me with no effort, and I was like, oh, I don't feel that yet, but I'm going to. And then yeah, I that is my go-to, unless, because I mean the way I grew up, if you're not gonna die or lose a digit, you don't go to the fucking hospital. That shit costs money. Here, we know how to fix stuff at home, and now we didn't. The super glue thing was, we used to use butterfly bandages. We didn't really, nobody thought of super glue back then. But I started keeping super glue in my toolbox at work when I was in the Air Force, and that was just because I'd cut myself and be like, they'll just. Um, and I always try to keep it around, but sometimes when I need it, I go to get it and it's dried up, and it's like, ah, quick, run to the dollar store.